independent of the relationship between your intelligence and your social positioning, which looks unjust as hell, there's another form of justice in operation, which is if you're smart, you better learn to be humble, and you better learn to be grateful for the fact that you've been gifted, and you better take that on as a serious responsibility, like a serious moral responsibility. Because if you don't, it will work against you. And if you're super smart and your intellect is working against you, you are in serious trouble. It's like, why is it fair for some people to be born with an IQ of 85, which barely makes you competent even to be a member of the armed forces, regardless of what role you're in, or to have an IQ of 145, which opens the doors, let's say, to places like Harvard and investment banking as a career strategy. And the cards are dealt out in a relatively arbitrary way. Well, that's a very bitter pill to swallow. But it is also the case that those who are intelligent have the temptation of Lucifer, essentially, if you think about it mythologically, because it's very easy to worship your own intellect and then to worship intellect per se. And that's a very, very dangerous, and it is a pointer to the fact that resources accrue, regardless of the discipline, resources accrue in the hands of a few. Doesn't matter what the discipline is. And that's what Marx observed when he said that capital would accrue in the hands of fewer and fewer people. Now, that's true. It happens all the time. It happens in every society. And it doesn't matter whether it's a capitalist society or a socialist society, by the way. And so he attributed that to capitalism, which meant he misdiagnosed the problem because it's way deeper than capitalism. But it is the case that rewards are differentially distributed. Okay. And that those in the higher echelons of the cognitive distribution are more likely to accrue those rewards. But there's another statement there that's also relevant, which is that to those who have been given much, much will be required. And like I had plenty of people in my clinical practice who were, they call them, let's say, underachievers. You know, IQ of 140 and a 20th percentile social class position. That's a recipe for extreme bitterness. Many of the people who I had in my practice who were like that were unbelievably annoyed that the world hadn't bent itself over to bow at their feet because of their undeniable intellect. And God, the internet is crowded with people like that. I mean, what's that sitcom about the physicists, The Big Bang Theory? All the humor that went along with The Big Bang Theory was essentially at the expense of arrogant but socially dysfunctional intellectuals. So there is a justice. This is what I'm pointing to.